Hello? Good morning. Can anybody hear me? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. I don't believe that it doesn't start until 10:30.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Angela, who are all these people?
Hey, Mom, this is Miss Keisha. So everybody here are probably either officers of the court, probation officers, court staff and stuff like that.
Okay. All right, thanks for letting me know. I just wondered.
No problem.
Dogs, quit.
Hey, Mom, can you go ahead and put your phone on mute?
Got it. Shush. I'm gonna go sit in the car where it's quiet to do this, okay?
Okay, but until then, put your phone on mute because
All right,
otherwise.
this is the detention docket for the 323rd District Court on Monday, March 22nd, 2021. According to local orders, we are still conducting detention hearings via Zoom. All other court proceedings are in person, just in case you may not have heard or read. But detention hearings will continue to be via Zoom. There's no hard date set yet. I expect until July is probably a good benchmark, but it could be sooner, it could be later. In order to comply with the Open Courts Act and give the public meaningful access to these proceedings, we are broadcasting these court proceedings on YouTube. But I'd like to remind everyone this is still court proceedings, so we do expect everyone to have their cameras on and to behave appropriately for court. Please do not have any moving backgrounds. Do not be on a jogging trail or a moving vehicle. Please restrain your domesticated animals. Please not use your restroom. Please be dressed appropriately. Do not be laying down or in bed. If you are an officer of the court, you are excused from having your camera on, but otherwise your camera does need to be on. So that would mean, well,
Okay, Judge, I'm trying to get to where there's no animals.
well, okay, but you can't be moving around either. So
Okay,
appearing in Zoom is a courtesy. Otherwise, you do need to appear in the courthouse.
okay. All right.
All right, we'll start with Caleb.
I'll sit down.
Sharon, you please mute your microphone. You're interrupting court.
Okay.
No, turn your camera on. Mute your microphone. No, turn your camera on.
How do I?
Michelle Bush, please turn your camera on.
Trying to figure out how to speak on here. Can you hear me?
I don't need to hear you. I need your camera to be on. You can mute yourself if you'd like.
I don't know how to really work Zoom. This is new to me. I'm sorry.
Please show up in person to the courthouse.
I don't have transportation.
I don't know what to say then, but you can't interrupt court because you just want to say something. All right, it's your responsibility to understand how Zoom works if you're not going to appear in person. All right, Caleb Olds. Do we have Caleb Olds? The third time, Caleb Olds. He's in the jail. Okay.
Your Honor, he's at the jail.
Arno Gamino.
I'm here, Mr. Gamino, Judge.
All right, thank you. I'm waiting on the child. Mr. Gamino? All right, DeMarcus Harrell.
Sorry, sir, we thought we were still waiting on the jail.
So which one is this? Which child is this?
This is Mr. Gamino.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Gamino, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought to a facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I decide whether to keep you in custody or to release you. If I keep you in custody, the The law says you have to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent, and you have a right to an attorney. We've appointed Mr. Sierra as your attorney. All right, so Mr. Gamino, let's see, you're 15 years old.
Yes, sir.
You have never been here before. Fort Worth PD brought you in. They're saying there was surveillance for a suspect in a capital murder warrant, which was not you. But they said that a Chrysler 300 left at the location occupied a few times with a possible suspect in the car. Police followed the car. Vehicle made an illegal right turn, so they activated the lights. Vehicle refused to stop, chased the vehicle for 25 miles before it was spiked. Chrysler 300 came to stop, and there was a felony stop. And the driver was identified as Ricardo Gamino, and the passenger had a warrant out for capital murder. You've been a runaway for about a year now, and not living under adult supervision. We refuse to accept parental supervision, and you're hanging out with people with warrants for capital murder and going in a car chase. Well, Ms. Alonso, are you here?
Yes,
Oh, good morning. So I'm assuming this car chase went to high speed.
yes,
Do we know where about where was the car finally stopped? Still in Tarrant County?
yes, still Tarrant County,
Okay.
east of Fort Worth.
Do we know whose car it was?
No, and the report doesn't mention if it was stolen or anything. It just says Chrysler 300.
Okay. Do we have a parent?
Yes, Anna's here.
Okay. Aunt, where are you?
She's in the parents' room.
Okay, there you are. All right, do you speak English?
Yes,
Okay, good. So Ricardo just went off on his own about a year ago?
yes.
You haven't heard from him? You didn't know where he was?
They brought it to me once before, but he decided he don't want to stay with me, so he went with his uncle.
Okay. All right, where are his parents?
The dad is no way to be found. The mom is in no good condition.
The mom is what?
It's no, I mean, she's not in a good condition to keep these kids.
I understand. All right, well, I'm really worried about you, Ricardo. I feel like if I was to let you go, you were out on your own for a year, and I'm not okay with that. I think you're a danger to yourself. You need to be with a responsible adult. All right, so for now, I'm gonna go and detain you. We'll see how you do, and I'll make a decision whether to release you or not. But if I release you, it's gonna be on this idea that you're gonna go with your aunt and stay with your aunt and do what you're supposed to do. All right, thank you, Ricardo. DeMarcus Harrell. All right, Mr. Harrell, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child's brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Ms. Hamrick as your attorney. Ms. Hamrick, are you here? Oh, there we are. Good morning, Melissa. All right. DeMarcus, you've been here before, let's see, last September for criminal trespass and evading arrest, and you got deferred prosecution. And now, let's see. It's on Saturday about 6:30. Off-duty officers was told by 6'5" security that there's a fight inside the park and they had lost the suspects. They wrote he was standing outside Six Flags gate when he saw a group of juveniles fighting. The bystanders told the officer that juvenile wearing a bulletproof vest and white pants had pulled out a handgun. They identified DeMarcus Harrell as the person with the firearm. The officer drove toward the juveniles, entering a black vehicle, and the officer asked Mr. Harrell who had the weapon. He said that you did, complied, need to control the gun. The gun was given to a backup officer, secured in the patrol vehicle. After a search, no other guns found. You were placed in handcuffs and escorted to the patrol vehicle. The handgun was a .40 caliber gun that was stolen out of Grand Prairie. There was a live round in the chamber. The interview with the juveniles reports that they were fighting because the victim said something to him. Words were exchanged. Security said there was a video. After watching the video, the officer was able to identify 3 juveniles that participated in the fight. And the officer wrote that when interviewing you, he had You advised that you got to the park by jumping the fence. After meeting up with friends, you were walking around the park. There were words and a fist fight occurred. Officers said that you did not pull the weapon out, that he was trying to move it from the front of his waistband to the side. Talked to the suspects who spoke to bystanders. The officers spoke with the bystanders and they were there to give somebody a ride home. They parked in the pickup area. When they got there, the victim was pointing out the suspects and a second fight began. And the officer said there's a video from the second fight showing the victim swinging on the suspects. Mother of victim said her son had been taken to the hospital by his father due to having braces. All right. A witness said they saw Mr. Harrell pull the weapon out and have it low ready position close to his body. The report continued saying that the officer believes that you intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly carried about a person handgun in a prohibited area, that you're a minor, and that all three suspects intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly caused bodily injury to each other. Suspects were charged with arrest, with assault, but not arrested for that offense. They were issued criminal trespass warnings. And they're not allowed to return to Six Flags for 6 years. So, all right, well, and we gave you a drug test. You're positive for marijuana. So are you mom?
I am.
Okay, so my first question is, where's your son getting the weed from?
Where does everybody get weed from?
I beg your pardon?
Where does everybody get marijuana from? He didn't get it from me. DeMarcus knows very well what he's supposed to be doing. He was supposed to be at Six Flags like everybody else. They're enjoying the amusement park and riding things. What he chooses to do, or what he chose to do, I got the phone call while I was at the beauty shop.
Mom, my question is, where's he getting the weed from?
I don't know. And here's the thing, Judge. There was a warning before this. I came up here last week, and before I came up here last week, I have been speaking to Mr. Cedric Jackson, his probation officer, over and over again about helping me out, and DeMarcus still making crazy choices and I'm guessing just not being caught. So when I came up here to explain that, they did advise me that I needed to speak to Mr. Eric Remington because Mr. Cedric Jackson has not been giving him a drug test. They were aware of all of this. I can count on one hand how many times I've spoken to Mr. Cedric Jackson, and he has been advised on everything that I have been going through with my son. None has been hidden under the sun. So the ball was dropped on that end. I can only do so much. I still have another 8-year-old that I have to raise at home and get up and go to work for. So I did my part when I came up here, but before then I was speaking with Mr. Cedric Jackson, as well as Nia Stewart, the counselor that he's supposed to be speaking to once a week. They kept giving him a tap on the wrist and telling me, Mom, we're gonna work with him. So where he got the marijuana from?
Where's he getting the marijuana from?
I don't know. What do you want me to say? I don't know, Judge.
I want you to say his friends, the drug dealer on the corner.
I can't tell you that because I don't have that answer for you. I don't have that answer. I don't know where he's getting the marijuana from. But when I'm having issues with him, because he's on probation, I was calling Mr. Cedric Jackson and explaining to him that DeMarcus was still not doing what he was supposed to be doing. He would still leave out of the house or go hang with the wrong type of friends. There's only so much I can do as a parent. I don't know where he was getting the marijuana from.
Okay, when you say there's only so much I can do as a parent, I mean, this is your responsibility. This is when you have a child, you're responsible for your child.
You're definitely right. I am very responsible, and there is only so much that I can do. I can't pin someone down into the house. Me and you had this conversation last time, and you know what you told me? The strongest intuition is the strongest power in the world is a mother's intuition. I can only do so much. I talk to DeMarcus constantly. I'm giving him his options. I'm telling him where he would be headed.
Remington? Did you ever email him?
Of course, me and Mr. Remington talks all the time. He's up there in the corner. I text him this morning. I text him daily. I came up here last week, Tuesday.
Mr. Remington, has this mother been saying that she's been having problems with the compliance?
Your Honor, my involvement started this last week. We had set this for an administrative hearing, and I literally talked to DeMarcus on Friday about staying home. He's been staying at his father's house for at least the last 30 to 60 days and wouldn't return to mother's house after father was arrested.
why didn't y'all come to the court for a DTA?
Your Honor, I was going to bring him in, give him a drug test this week, and then this happened.
When's the last time, Stephanie, when's the last time we gave him a drug test?
Hasn't had one.
He hasn't had a drug test since he was placed on DPP, Your Honor.
When was that?
September 11th, between
September.
September 11th and the 15th.
So how is he on DPP and now we're going on 6 months without a drug test?
We'll work on it, Your Honor. I apologize.
No, I mean, that's not, I'm not kicking you. I'm just asking, do we have a policy that we don't have to give drug tests?
No, Your Honor. This client was on phone contact, mainly due to COVID, and we didn't give him a UA during that time, Your Honor.
Okay, so again, this goes back, Ms. Remington, what is the JPD policy? How can a child be on DPP and go 6 months without a drug test? I mean, is there no requirement from JPD on DPP participants that they don't get drug tests?
Excuse me, Your Honor.
We don't have a specific policy right at this moment, Your Honor. It's usually been calling folks into the office and trying to do it in a safe environment.
All right, so I'm trying to figure out, he's 6 months without a drug test, he's on DPP, he's not living where he's supposed to be living, and now we're asking him to voluntarily come in while the mom is reporting these problems. So I'm trying to figure out at what point, like, what's the point of DPP then?
I understand, Your Honor.
So I know JPD used to complain that the judges here, the 323rd, used to just do catch and release. It seems like JPD is doing the exact same thing. You just let him go and not worry about it.
We should have acted sooner, Your Honor.
Okay. And Ms. Remington, I'm not, I have the utmost respect for you, but this is one of those, it looks like a failure of supervision. It seems like DPP is nothing but get away from us and don't force us to deal with you. So I don't know, possibly the juvenile board needs to revise what's happening on DPP or whether even JPD can offer DPP anymore. All right, so Mom, where do you get the gun from?
You have to ask DeMarcus those questions because he can't have that at my house.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
very strict.
obviously you didn't have it at your house if he's not living there.
He was there when his dad got arrested. I went and picked him up. I thought him being with his father, that was my only second option. Cause like I said, I've been reaching out to Mr. Cedric Jackson. I can count on my hands. When they released DeMarcus, I called his probation officer. He didn't call me. I called him and said, you haven't spoke with DeMarcus. No one is doing anything. When DeMarcus wasn't going to school, I called and informed them of that. Nothing. So I was trying my best. I even went online to maybe look up some type of therapy programs to get him in a treatment facility. But it was so much money. I would have to work 3 jobs just to fend for me and my daughter and for DeMarcus as well. So that's what made me start reaching out to Miss Stewart and Mr. Cedric Jackson. But Mr. Cedric Jackson, he's either on vacation or he's always having family emergency. That's when I thought the integrity need to step in and maybe he need to drop the case down to someone else.
Mr. Jackson here?
Excuse
No,
me?
Your Honor.
Are you
We
covering
had
for
family
Mr. Remington?
emergency. I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Remington,
sir.
are you covering for Mr. Jackson?
I am, sir.
Okay, so I read in the news there's a gun discharged over at Six Flags over the weekend. Is there anything to indicate that Mr. Harrell was the one that discharged the weapon?
I understand, Your Honor, that incident occurred on Friday. This particular incident occurred on Saturday, the next day.
And
So
he
the
was
day
home
after
with me Friday night.
This is not your time. So the day after there's a shooting at Six Flags, Mr. Harrell evidently decides to go and bring a gun to Six Flags.
Correct, sir.
All right, a horrible decision to make if this is allegedly. So at this point, I'm just going to detain you. I think you're a danger to yourself and the community. Thank you, Mr. Harrell.
I think they dropped the ball and now they want to say he's a danger, but they didn't do their part. No, I'm not gonna be quiet because
The court's gonna hold you in
I
contempt
get
if you
that.
don't.
No, but I understand that, but
Okay.
still,
Well,
they dropped
obviously
the
you don't.
ball. It's their fault. It's the warning.
Personal responsibility. Oh. Ms. Hawkins, are you here? Ms. Hawkins. Michaela Hawkins.
Here you go, Judge. Here you go, Judge Kim.
Good morning.
Okay, let's try and get the children ready. We have a long docket today. All right, Michaela, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. When the kid's brought in, you have to see a judge within 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Ms. Carter's your attorney. Virginia, are you here? No? Okay. Mr. Sierra, I'm going to ask you to step in for Mrs. Carter.
Yes, Your Honor.
So let's see. Michaela, on the 20th, you've never been here before. On the 20th, Arlington PD brought you in. You're dispatched to Grandma's house because there was a call saying that you hit your grandmother. And so police spoke to Grandma, who said that you were staying with her during spring break and you invited a friend over. And Grandma said the friend could only stay over if she spoke with her parents, which is the rule in my house. All right, this upset you, who said you would just leave the home. Grandma tried to block the door, so you began to push past her. So Grandma grabbed your hair, which sounds reasonable. And allegedly, that upset you, pushed Grandma down, causing her to hit her head and begin bleeding. She was still bleeding when police got there. Declined EMS, but wanted to pursue charges. Friend had a marijuana grinder and released to her father. So, are you Dad?
Yes. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
Mr. Wordlaw.
All right. So, Dad, first question for you is, does she live with you or with mom? Are you and mom still together?
No, actually, her mom is incarcerated at the moment.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you were the one who gave permission to stay with Grandma?
Well, we went out of town. We were going out of town for a family spring break get together, and she insisted, I don't want to go with you guys. I want to go to Grandma's for a week. She begged to go to Grandma's. Grandma said, yeah. And then we're on vacation on the beach, and we get a call saying, she hit me, and now she's in jail. And I'm like, all right, we'll be home Monday. Or, and this is where we are today.
For your vacation, how long your daughter been smoking weed?
Let her tell it. Her mom used to let her smoke all the time. Let her tell it. I don't know.
Okay.
I got into the equation where her mom had to go to jail. I picked her up roughly 7 years ago. Her mom had to go do some time, and I went and stepped up, and I've had her ever since.
Man, Dad, kudos to you. If I was there, I'd shake your hand for stepping up and taking care of your daughter in this time. All right, well, so I think we have bigger issues. Obviously, there's an attitude problem if she's telling you she's not going on family vacation. Dad, it's your right to tell her it's not her call, right, on these vacations. So, well, Dad, tell me what we're doing from here. I've got a big problem with her lack of respect for Grandma or for elders, right? I have a problem with her hanging out with friends and not following Grandma's rules, the rules of that house. I have problems with her, making plans to smoke up over at Grandma's house. So, Dad, I like your aura. Tell me where we're at now. I mean, do I need to let her go and to you, and you can provide adequate supervision for her?
When she's with me, she's a role model citizen. But her grandmother, whenever she's at either school or her grandmother, she does cut up a little bit. But at my home, it's literally amazing. She's a role model citizen. Like, I don't play that. I'm Dad. So, but it's when she goes away from Dad, I get the phone calls and the principal calls me and Grandma says, your daughter's smoking weed in my house again. That's the calls I get. In my house,
disrespect her grandma to do that.
Yeah, and then she said she hit her and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, that, we don't play those games at my house. It's different.
Well, no. And Dad, I think we're kind of identifying a problem is that she respects your authority. She just doesn't respect anybody else's, right? And so, which to me tells me that you're actually doing a really good job being consistent on what right and wrong is. Grandma or schools probably give her too much slack. All right, well, Dad, I mean, I can't have her around Grandma as the victim of the offense. I'm willing to release her to you, but she's gonna have to stay with you. No sleepovers with friends, no staying with relatives. I mean, she's stuck with you, right? Is that something that you can abide with?
Of course. Yeah, she at our household, we don't do sleepovers, we don't do friends over, we don't have company, we don't have it's pretty, it's pretty nice, but we don't play all that because our house is pretty, nice, and I don't like strangers in our household. So we don't do any sleepovers, no friends allowed ever. You have to meet them at the park or go to their home, not our home.
You and me, we're like brothers from another mother.
Correct. There's too many things in my household that I love.
Yeah, right. That's why we have nice things.
Correct,
Okay,
Your
well
Honor.
then, Dad, my question for you is, first of all, she's never been here before, so we didn't automatically drug test her. Would you like us to drug test her?
I'm sure she's positive.
Well, it's one of those that really can't be used against her. It will maybe help probation get an idea of what services she may need. So there's no new charge for it. If it's something that you would like to know, we'll give her a drug test for your benefit. If you can give one on your own, or you don't want us to give one, I respect that. So,
You
do
can.
you have a preference?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Yeah, we'll go and we'll give her a UA. Are you worried about any other drugs or just marijuana?
If anything, I would say she just smokes marijuana. From my knowledge, I don't know anything about anything else.
Okay, that's fine.
She goes to
Has she
school
run away
every day.
from home before? Does she sneak
Never.
out, run away?
Never. I have
You don't-
30 cameras around my home. She can't get away from nothing.
So there's really no need for electronic monitor on her or anything, do you think?
No, sir. No, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and release her to your custody. All right, we'll give her a UA. I guess, Ms. Paxton, just give her a drug screen and let Dad know what the drug screen was. So I'm just gonna let Michaela know that you can't get out of here until you provide a urine sample. So if you're gonna hold out on the urine sample, then you'll just stay here for however long you hold out for. But as soon as you give a sample, that way we have a screen, we can release you to Dad, okay?
Thank
All
you,
right,
Your Honor.
Michaela, so I'm expecting you to follow your dad's rules. If we get calls from your dad saying that you have an attitude with them, you're sneaking out, you're causing problems, then we'll just bring you back here. So I'm letting you go based on your promise that you will respect your father and his rules. Fair enough? All right, thank you, Michaela. The very end, oh no, we have Caleb Olds. I think the jail is here. Mr. Olds, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You've been here for 10 days. I'm deciding whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Mr. Olds, if I remember, you're 17 years old. And this is the CVS for vape cartridges. And allegedly you shot her in the back of the head in her car. So tracked you down by Instagram on the drug deal, and you're in supervision in Limestone County. So, all right, you're set for court on April 6th. You have a psychological evaluation scheduled for tomorrow. So, Mr. Olds, I believe that if I was to let you go, you'd be a danger to yourself and to others. I'm going to go ahead and detain you. We will see you on April 6th. Thank you, sir.
Judge,
Yes.
is there any possibility we could have him moved back to juvenile since they're filed a certification hearing and I need to talk to him? So I was wondering if there's any chance we could bring him back there where he'd be easier to get to.
Mr. Hall, I'm open to the idea because you're requesting at this point, no, because we are actually, our detention numbers are higher than I'm comfortable with.
Okay.
So I'm trying to keep those numbers down or be cognizant of it. Right now, the inconvenience, and I'm using the word literally, the inconvenience to you is less than the inconvenience to the whole of the detention staff. So, but if the numbers go down, check back with Mary in a week. If the numbers go down, then I have no problem bringing him back.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Thanks, Judge. And I thought I had one more, Mr. Nesbitt, but I don't see him on the list.
I do not have you anymore on this docket.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Hey, Sheriff, thank you for bringing this inmate.
Oh, not a problem.
Devarian McGaughy. Mr. McGaughy, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. Law says when a child's brought to your facility, you see a judge within 2 days, and I'll decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. Ms. Taylor is your attorney. Good morning, Candace.
Hello.
All right, so Mr. McGaughy, you're 16 years old. You've never been here before. On Friday, Arlington PD brought you in. They were dispatched to Six Flags about a shooting. Officers spoke to witnesses and video surveillance, located Devarian and named him as a suspect. They found you in the back seat passenger in your sister's vehicle. They found a gun directly under where you were sitting. Shows the victim and your brother having a physical altercation. Then it shows you pulling a gun and shoot it toward the ground. Victim seen running away, and then you were seen shooting toward the victim who was shot in the arm. Sister and boyfriend told officers they knew you were in possession of a gun and returned to the car, shooting the gun. So you're brought over here. So now you're charged with I'm finding there's probable cause for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Very, just so you know, on this type of offense, you're looking at up to 20 years of commitment. That could start in the juvenile justice system. And then if you, whatever remaining time, I could transfer you to complete the remainder of your sentence in the adult prison, TDC. Also let you know, this is type of offense where the district attorney could file for certification. So what that means, they would ask me to give up my jurisdiction over you and transfer your case to an adult criminal court for proceedings, at which point your punishment range would be from 2 to 20 years of confinement in the Texas Department of Corrections. Just to let you know, this is very serious. So at this point, I feel like if I was to let you go, you'd be a danger to the community. I guess, are you mom and dad here?
Yes.
All right, do we know where you got the gun from? Y'all know where you got the gun from?
No, sir.
Yeah, I just, it worries me that he had possession of a gun. And then, of course, discharging, the video showing him discharging the gun is also a big concern. So at this point, I feel like it's very much a safety issue. I guess I'm happy it's not a homicide case. I guess that's the only good news about this right now. But we're gonna go ahead and hold on to him for now, and we'll make a decision. We'll see him every 10 days, decide whether to release him or keep him here. All right. Thank you. Michaela McGee.
Your Honor, may I speak before we begin?
Yes.
I've discussed this situation with Ms. Marino, and we would respectfully request that the court cancel the live feed due to some safety concerns that have been raised.
Okay, yeah, so for Ms. McGee, yeah, let's go ahead and we will do this. Let's move this in person at the end of the docket. I think, Ms. Taylor, you're the attorney on this one. So what I'd like to do is at the end, we'll go ahead and, you know what, Judge Porter is going to take over the 10 days. So I'll go to the court Zoom channel, the one we normally use for my online virtual dockets, and I'll do it in person. I'll just turn the camera on so you can participate via Zoom. All right, Ms. Taylor?
Okay, Judge, so I'm sorry, should I log out of this and wait for a new link?
Well, I mean, it'll be empty until I get there because I have to finish this one up.
Okay, I've got an 11:20, so I'll probably just leave you up and stay in the meeting and let it be empty, and then have you, I'll do 2 computers at once.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Scarlett Ramirez.
Excuse me.
Here you go, Judge Kim.
Yes, thank you. All right, Ms. Ramirez, I'm Judge Kim. This is it. Wait, am I out of order?
No, sir.
There we go. Okay.
Excuse me, Judge. So what do I need to do as far as my daughter Michaela McGee's case?
Ma'am, I'm calling you right now.
Ms. Ramirez, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. You have the right. When a kid comes into our facility, you'll see a judge within 2 days. I'll decide whether to keep you in custody or to release you. If I keep you in custody, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Mr. Beaver as your attorney. All right, Ms. Ramirez. Let's see, you're 16 years old. You've never been here before. According to police report, in February, police were called to a shooting call near Forest Oak Middle School. Found a deceased male in a vehicle who had been shot several times. They found 2 phones in the vehicle, both belonging to the deceased. After an investigation, they learned the deceased was planning on meeting a person he spoke with on Snapchat, later identified as Scarlett, to smoke and possibly sell marijuana and acid to. So allegedly Scarlett arranged on Snapchat to purchase the marijuana and acid from the victim in front of the middle school, and which was coordinated set up to rob the victim, planned to steal drugs, money, car, and gun. Scarlett messaged the deceased after the incident, asking if he was okay, and stated she ran away due to her being scared. They interviewed you on March 10th, where you confirmed you and 4 friends, Jose, Ricardo, Raimundo, and Edric, planned on robbing him of his drugs. Once in the car, learned that he did not have drugs to sell, so she tried to get him to drive her to the school so they could smoke weed. She told her friends by text that they still were robbing him. We report the victim attempted to drive away as he saw 2 males approach, and they opened fire on the driver's side. Adult accomplice Jose was driving. Adult accomplice Edric was identified as one shooter. Juvenile was identified as the second shooter. The victim was pronounced dead on the scene. All right, Scarlett, so I'm going to let you know, it's a very serious offense. Capital murder is when, during the commission of a felony, and this one is dealing drugs or robbery, that somebody dies. Okay? Let you know that this offense in the juvenile system could be a commitment of up to 40 years, at which before your 19th birthday, there will be a hearing for me to decide whether to transfer you to the adult system or to parole you. If the state of Texas, sometimes the prosecutor will ask for me to give up my jurisdiction and transfer your case to adult criminal courts for prosecution. And if that's the case, then you are looking at up to a life sentence if I do give up my jurisdiction. So just to let you know that this is a very serious matter. I'm very concerned about your behavior and the seriousness of this offense. Do we have a parent here? Yeah, parent just came in. All right. So I'm very concerned about the seriousness of this offense. I feel like if I was to let you go, it'd be a danger to the community, especially if it appears that you're the one setting up a drug deal for the purpose of a robbery, which is.
Judge, the parents are in the parent room.
I just saw them. They got sued late, but I saw them. So Scarlett, I'm going to go ahead and detain you because I do feel like you're a danger. Your behavior is a danger to yourself as well as to other people. And so we will see what happens with your case. But it is important that you do the best you can from this situation by behaving well and not causing problems. No situation is so bad that you can't make it worse, no matter how bad this may seem. All right, thank you, Scarlett. Shane and Ray.
Hi.
Ray, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when the child's brought in here, you'll see a judge within 2 days, and you decide whether to keep you here or to release you. If I keep you, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You do have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Ms. Hamrick as your attorney. Good morning, Ms. Hamrick.
Morning, Your Honor.
So Shannon, you were on probation for harassment of a public servant, and Judge Porter issued a warrant for you since you did not show up at court for modification. I remember this one because you didn't want to get out of bed. You refused to come to court. So we issued a warrant for you. Our own police went by your home and brought you over here. And we brought you in. You tested positive for marijuana and cocaine. And back in December of last year, you were using your parents' credit card, and you were picked up a family violence case, held you in Arlington jail overnight, and the judge released you on a PR bond. And they refer you to the DA for violation of court order for the new adult charges. So, Ms. Cruz, are you here? Hello, Ms. Cruz. Does your microphone work or no? I have a quick question. When a child's arrested for a new offense, even though she's an adult, do y'all not notify the court about a DTA?
Your Honor, I can answer that for you. If they remain in jail, we do request a DTA, but she was released that next day. And so we did it with the admin hearing, and then we referred it to the DA. And so it was filed out of custody. She was originally set in January and did appear in January, and it was passed for placement search and then reset during the ice storm week in February and then reset. So she's actually been on the docket now 3 times.
And this is the one that refused to come to get out of bed, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, Shannon, here's the deal. It's when you have court, you got to go to court. You got to take care of your business. I feel like if I was to let you go, then you just would not come back to court when you're supposed to, which is my main concern. So I'm going to go ahead and detain you. We don't have a hearing here, do we? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and detain you because I feel like you are not going to come to court when you're supposed to. All right. Now, I see your hand is raised. If you want to tell me something, you really shouldn't. Your attorney does not want you to. But if you want to ask me a question, I don't mind answering your question for you. Do you have a question for me, or do you want to tell me something?
Sir, I was sick. I've been throwing up.
Shannon, that doesn't sound like a question. Do you have a question for me, or do you want to tell me something?
I want to tell you something.
No. So you don't want to tell me anything. All right. So if you have a question, I don't mind answering, but your attorney does not want you to tell me anything. All right.
That is
You're an
correct.
adult now, 17 years old. If you have court, you got to come to court. Okay. Thank you, Shannon. Raimundo Rojas. All right, Ms. Rojas, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. Law said when a child's brought to a facility, you have to see a judge in 2 days. I have to decide whether to keep you or release you. If I keep you, you need to see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. We have appointed Mr. Adler as your attorney. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Judge.
All right, so Raimundo, let's see, you're 16 years old. Started back when you were 13 with a criminal trespass case and a graffiti and evading arrest. And JPD gave you supervisory caution. Then you're 15, you get arrested for discharging a firearm in a city and unlawfully carrying a weapon, which you got deferred prosecution for. All right. So now on Friday, police were called to, oh, this is the drug deal set up by Scarlett in front of the middle school. And evidently there were 2 adults, and she said that she told y'all that he didn't have any drugs on him, but you said, let's do the robbery anyways. And so y'all shot up the car as he was trying to drive away. And you're identified as one of the shooters. So, and I don't see. So, you remember when I saw you back in 2019 that when a kid's brought in for a gun charge, that, you know, I'm not going to release you. And so I'm just very concerned if I was to release you, you get your hands on another gun and kill somebody else. So I feel like you'd be a danger to yourself or to others if I was to release you. I'm going to go ahead and detain you and just let you know you're approaching your 17th birthday. Mr. Rojas, I want to let you know your charge is very serious. You're looking at capital murder at this point in the juvenile justice system. What could happen is you could get up to 40 years of commitment, at which point before your 19th birthday, there would be hearing in front of me for me to decide whether to transfer you to adult prison or to keep you in the, or to parole you into the community. The district attorney's office may ask me to give up my jurisdiction. If that's the case, that is where I say I don't feel like the juvenile justice system can help you and that I need to give up my jurisdiction, certify you as an adult, and then you would go to adult criminal court for future proceedings, which means in that case, for this level of offense of capital murder, you could be looking at life in prison. So I want to let you know this is very serious. I would encourage you to communicate with your attorney and be on your best behavior while your case is pending. All right. Thank you, Mr. Rojas. Yes, sir. Do you have a question?
How can I talk to my attorney or the detective? I haven't been able to talk to nobody yet.
Your attorney will call you.
All
right. Thank you. Michael Stedham.
One more question, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can my friends hear me right now?
I don't know who your friends are, and I'm pretty sure that whoever your friends are, you probably shouldn't have. They shouldn't have been.
Yeah, parents hear me.
Yes.
Can my parents hear me right now?
Oh, your parents are here. They're on screen. They can see you. Okay.
Mamá, te amo. También a ti, papá.
It's bold of you. It's really bold of you. You know what? If you're going to say to your parents that you love them, maybe you shouldn't run around with guns. all right? Whether it's last or 2019 or now, right? Maybe if you really love your parents, that you shouldn't be hanging around other people that are implicating you with drug deals. That if you love your parents, that you shouldn't be trying to set up and rob people. You know, if you're going to disrespect your parents by saying that you love them, why don't you show it by your actions instead of your words? Because your words are empty. You are showing no actions that you love your parents. You're doing nothing but causing them grief and heartache. Don't say you love your parents. Don't lie to them like that. Michael Stedham. All right, Mr. Stedham, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. The law says when a child is brought to our facility, you'll see a judge within 2 days. I'll decide whether to keep you here or to release you. If I keep you here, you'll see a judge every 10 days while you're here. You have the right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney. And Ms. Hamrick is your attorney. Good morning, Melissa. All right, so Mr. Stedham, you are 17 years old. And on Friday, you were brought in by Sampson Park for an EM violation on which I issued a warrant for you because you cut off your electronic monitor. We got a text March that you cut off your electronic monitor and left the RTC in a white van. And so we issued a warrant for you. And you are on probation for theft of property, $750 to $2,500. When we brought you in, you're positive for marijuana, amphetamines, and methamphetamines. Mr. Lemire, are you here?
I'm covering for Mr. Lemire.
Oh, that's right. So is he on any kind of prescription that might test the false positive?
Not to my knowledge. I read chronos. I didn't get that from any of the crons, but we do have his CPS caseworker on. Ms. Pritchard.
Who's here from the department?
His caseworker is dealing with an emergency. I'm his supervisor.
Oh, okay. Hello, Ms. Pritchard. Do you have any record? Is he on any kind of prescription that might test positive, like Adderall, things like that?
I can look. He had been on the run for over 2 weeks, so I'm not sure if that would have still.
Yeah, I can't imagine he's on the run for over 2 weeks. He's out getting his own prescription. So, just me. All right. So he was in a CPS RTC?
Yes, sir.
All right. What are y'all's plans for him?
He turns 18 in May. We're trying to just keep him in care until he ages out. Trying to keep him
Y'all have a
safe.
placement for him? Y'all have a placement for him?
I think today might be the 14-day discharge. So I'm not sure if we have to pay for him or not.
All right. Mr. Booth, I have a question. What the underlying offense, the theft, the $750 to $2,500, do we know what the theft was? Mr. Stedham, if you want to talk about that, you can. What was that theft case about?
It was about a stolen vehicle.
Okay. All right.
I had stolen a vehicle and crashed it.
Okay. All right.
And when Mr. Lemire wanted me to reiterate that when he cut off the EM, that was the day that he was going to get off. So, I mean, he acted prematurely in cutting it off.
Michael, we were going to take it off anyways that day. Come on, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Ms. Pritchard, need a plan from you guys. Since you're the conservator, is this post termination?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So since y'all the PMC, kind of need something from you guys. How much time do you need to figure out what you can do with Mr. Stidham?
I would have to contact intake to see what placements that we have available. It might be, I'm not sure. Like I said, his caseworker is dealing with an emergency and flying out right now. So a day maybe.
Okay. Well, how about, is Wednesday okay? 2 days?
Yes, sir. We can have a plan in place.
Okay. Let's do that. So Michael, I'm going to detain you from now because, well, you ran away. Okay. And so you just can't cut off my monitor and run away. That being said, we're going to touch bases with the department, and Mr. Bose, if you can let Mr. Lemire know to contact the caseworker for the department and see what kind of plan they have just by end of business on Wednesday. I want to give you all 2 full days, Ms. Pritchard. and just try and, I know you said you maybe the end of the 14 days, but just, we're not sure about timelines. So I want to give you that extra day grace. So you have today, tomorrow, and all of business on Wednesday. So Thursday morning, we can figure out what the plan is, and we can figure out what to do with Mr. Stedham. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Pritchard. All right. Thank you, Michael. Hopefully I won't see you again. Please, just a lot of times, if you just slow down. Michael, hey, just for a second. Yeah, Michael, Mr. Stedham. Hey, I'm not trying to scold you. This is just kind of man-to-man. You're almost 18. A lot of times in life, if you just slow down for a second, a lot of things kind of work out by themselves. You don't always have to be in a rush to get things done right away, right? I mean, take it or leave it. It's just kind of my advice, just guy to guy. All right. All right. Thank you, Mr. Stedham. Highland Thompson. All right, Mr. Thompson, I'm Judge Kim. This is a detention hearing. I'm making a decision whether to keep you or release you. You have to see a judge within 2 days of coming here. So here we are. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to an attorney. Mr. Graham has been appointed as your attorney. So Charlie, you're 15 years old. You were here. So your history started when you were 10 with a intervention case. And you seem to be doing all right. So you're 14, you get a evading arrest case and a stolen car and an evading arrest. You got supervisory caution for that. And now, on Friday, you were brought in for electronic monitor violation. You left home on March 16th and returned just about an hour. Came back an hour later. So we got a sweat patch that we released you on, came back, you're positive for methamphetamine, cocaine, and marijuana. You got your first sweat patch in February, but you said it came off and brought in a plastic bag and it was unreadable. So you were set for adjudication disposition on March 24th, so for Wednesday, and unlawfully carrying a weapon. Back in January, just before midnight, saw 5 juvenile males exit a Chevy Tahoe, walking to a convenience store. Saw the Tahoe quickly exit at a high rate of speed, traffic stop, and he told officers that the other 2 black males who got out of their car at the convenience store had a gun, tried to rob them. They went to the store, but they couldn't find them there. They went back to Buttercup Apartments and saw 2 individuals who were seen exiting the Tahoe. One took off running. Trilon walked towards some bushes near the building. When they approached you, saw you make a tossing motion, heard something metallic hitting the building. The 10 you found a 380 lying in the grass next to the building. So, man, those 3 buddies of yours told the police that you were trying to rob them. You're not very good friends. All right, well, Charlon, we let you go. You cut off your EM. Mr. Dotson, are you here?
Yes, sir. I'm here, Your Honor.
All right, so who's the judge that let him go on the EM? Was it me?
Yes, sir. And he had said that he only was going to be tested positive for marijuana, and then the cocaine and the other thing came up in the sweat patch also.
Man, Charlon, you know how I feel about gun cases. I hold on to you for a while, make sure you could behave and show me you can do the right thing. And then you go and cut off your EM and you're positive for weed, cocaine, and methamphetamine. So I think this is, we have a parent here? Yeah.
Yes, right here. He didn't cut off nothing. That's what
I'm sorry, he didn't cut off. He just violated.
Yeah, he didn't cut off nothing.
No, he didn't cut off. I was wrong. I said that wrong. He didn't cut it off. He just violated the EM. He left the house when he wasn't supposed to. You know where he went?
He was with me. We actually went to Chicken Express and to go get him a haircut. But when the police officer came over there Friday, they didn't have no paperwork. They said he jumped out the window. And about this methamphetamine, this cocaine in his sweatpants, I don't know where all that come from.
It comes from him using cocaine and methamphetamine.
He don't do that. We don't do that in my household. He don't do no drugs. Okay, because he had took a urine and he was positive. I mean, he was clean for that. Then for some reason on his sweatpants, it come back positive for the other stuff. So you saying my 15-year-old son is doing cocaine and methamphetamine?
Yes.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry to tell you that.
impossible.
It is absolutely certain. That's the thing. It's the sweat patch. You can't beat it. That's why I use it. It absorbs the oil directly coming out of the skin directly, and the oil in the skin contains the metabolites of whatever substances he's using. So
why wasn't in his urine? Like,
well, because the
that's where I'm
metabolite,
confused about.
the metabolite can cycle through your system for cocaine just like 72 hours. The sweat patch is 24/7 monitoring. So his urine test, if depending on when he used it, it may or may not show up. But the sweat patch, it's all the time. You can't trick it. So
Did you know that's a hardcore drug, like for a 15-year-old kid to even try? Like, I'm not even believing that. Like, no, I feel like they switched the sweat pad up, and then why would they release him the second time that he came up here if he was, so-called dirty?
Well, because they release him because we have to send the patch over to the lab. So there's a delay on getting the results back from the lab.
But before my mom left, when my mom came up here the second time, because I couldn't make it, I had to go to work. Mr. Dobson said everything was good. He was clean. So I'm not understanding all of a sudden the laws is at my house Friday, saying all this other different stuff about him doing this weird type of drugs.
It's not weird. It's dangerous drugs. They're controlled substances.
It's very dangerous.
And he is absolutely using the way you test positive for cocaine is to use cocaine. All right, he's using cocaine. So Mom, you just have to understand. Yeah, he's using cocaine. He's using methamphetamine. That's what it is. But I am now curious because it seems like Mr. Thompson is hiding a lot from his mom. So Mr. Dotson, can we go ahead and get a hair follicle test as well? I'd like to go back 6 months and let's figure out what other things he's using.
We can get it done, you.
I'm sorry?
I said we can get it done.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Your Honor, do you want a nail bed test or a hair follicle test?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I want to do a nail bed test.
No.
I don't want any false positives, so thank you for reminding me. So, yeah, so Mom, we'll go further back and figure out what he's using over a longer period of time. Hopefully nothing else shows up, but it's possible. Just be prepared for that. But I'm absolutely certain. That's why I use the sweat patch test. It is the most accurate, precise way of monitoring drug use.
Judge, I see what you're saying, but my son, now marijuana, he do go to school. Now I can see, but I'm not.
Yeah.
No, that other stuff, that just right there. That just took the cake for me.
Mom, I know it's very disappointing and surprising for you.
Because I know for sure that when you know what your child is doing and what your child is not doing, I know for sure, for 100% sure that he's not doing that.
Are you willing to bet it, Mom?
He's not doing that.
Are you willing to bet it?
He's not doing it.
I got a lab result, I know you don't want to think that he is, but he is. He may not doing it on purpose. Maybe it's laced in the weed or something, but he is. He is consuming cocaine and methamphetamine. All right, so hopefully this just gives you more information. I know it's very disappointing and shocking for you, but if anything, at least as a mother, now you have more information on maybe the struggles your son is dealing with or may have to deal with in the future.
Struggles.
Right. Okay.
He's not dealing with no struggles, sir.
Well, if he's using cocaine and methamphetamine, he's going to have struggles. All right. So, Mr. Thompson, I see your hand is raised. If you have a question for me, I don't mind answering it. If you want to tell me something, your attorney does not want you to tell me anything. All right. So, Mr. Thompson, do you have a question for me?
Yes, sir. Can you swear me in or something? Because I never use methamphetamine. I don't even know what that stuff is or look like. Can I get sworn in or something?
I'm telling you, you have used it. Right. So just.
I don't even know what that stuff look like.
That's what I'm saying. That's so.
I don't smoke weed.
Hold on. Mr. Thompson, we'll talk about it because we have some options. If you think the test was not correct, we'll talk about that in private.
But we're doing a nail bed test. And so, we get confirmation on that one. And you may not have known it, but you did use it. That's the only way you test positive is if you use it. Okay. So, Mr. Thompson, I'm concerned. I'm not as worried about if it was just the going to Chicken Express with your mom, I think this would be a good teacher moment. I'd be happy to release you back to your mom. However, since you are positive for marijuana, THC, methamphetamine, and cocaine, you can't do that while you.
Sir, I was not positive for marijuana. took a UA test when I came in. He said I was negative.
Your sweat patch showed you positive for THC.
Really?
When I first got the sweat patch, when I came in, I was positive.
So, Mr. Thompson, your attorney has advised you not to talk to me. Okay.
I want to go home, Judge Kim.
Well, I understand. I want you home too, but if it means going home is you're smoking weed and methamphetamine and cocaine,
don't even-
then I've got a problem with that. Right?
But
So-
Judge Kim, I didn't smoke no weed. When I got the sweat patch, I was positive. Can I please go? Can you just test me? Can I just go?
Charlie, be quiet real quick. Be quiet. Mr. Judge Kim, I can't tell you that my son has been doing good. He's been going to school, and for some reason, 3 days until him finna get off, they just all of a sudden saying that he been doing all this hardcore drug, and then he jumped out the window, violated his probation. I don't understand it.
I'm not saying anything about the jumping out the window. I know
That's what they came to my house and said, the police officers.
Ma'am, I'm not saying that. Okay? Police are allowed to lie to you, right? I don't know what conversation went on there. What I'm saying right now is my concern is the sweat patch shows up for cocaine, methamphetamine, and THC.
Been exposed to that. He don't do that. We don't do that.
Can I just get another sweat patch and go home, Judge Kim? Please, I don't want to be here.
I don't want you here either. I don't think you
I
understand.
promise I don't use
He been
that. Can you
doing so good.
Can
He
you
been
give me
doing
a
so
chance?
good.
Can you give me a chance, Judge Kim? I go to school. I do everything I'm supposed to do.
You sure do.
Can I please just get a chance, Judge Kim? I don't want to be here. I don't like it here. And this jail is full. It's not for me. Please, Judge Kim, can I just go home? We can do house checkups, all of that. You can come to my house, search my house. I don't do drugs. I had got a UA test Friday. He said I was negative for everything.
All right. So, anyways, you're detained. At this point, I can turn the docket over to Judge Porter. So, and if we can, I'm going to do that one case in person. I believe this Ms. McGee. So I'm going to start the court virtual docket, the other Zoom session for me, and Judge Porter will continue the session docket. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Judge Kim.
Thank you, Adam.
Patrick Shane Bowers. Are you Mr. Bowers?
Yes, sir, I am.
Mr. Bowers, the law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. Mr. Judge, yeah. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Ms. Mills, is here. Do you see Ms. Mills on the screen?
Hey, Patrick.
All right. Do we have a family member here?
Your Honor,
Yes,
yes, Mother is in town. She's not actually in the building, but she tried to get on and she couldn't get on. And I think it was because she was probably late. Is there any way you can let her in?
Not me. I believe that. Okay, let me.
Her name is Amber Robertson.
Okay, is there somebody at the computer for juvenile ePod?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I need you to go up at the bottom of the screen. I want you to click on participants for me. Have you done that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then where you go, scroll over to where it says Judge Porter. I want you to click on More. Have you done that?
Yes.
Okay, and then I want you to make Judge Porter host. All right, thank you. Ms. Paxton, what is the mom's name again?
Amber Robertson.
Okay, there's nobody by that name in the waiting room.
Let me, can I have a second just to call her and try to get back on?
All right. Meanwhile, Mr. Bowers, you were originally referred for an assault family violence case that allegedly happened up at Great Wolf Lodge. Following your release from the hospital from a bad reaction to medicine, when your caretaker, Ms. Robinson, grabbed your arm or hoodie to keep you from leaving a vehicle, you allegedly struck her in the arms several times, causing pain. appears you're a resident of Oklahoma. CPS in both Texas and in Oklahoma are involved. And so, Ms. Paxton, what is the cousin's name?
Her name is Amber Robertson, and that's who he's been living with. CPS has cleared him to go back and live with her, and she wants him home.
All right.
He does have court coming up, though, on the 30th.
Okay.
She said she was going to try to get back on.
Okay, let me check something real quick while you're trying to get in touch with her. Ms. Mills, what are your thoughts?
Judge, I spoke with Patrick a couple of days ago. He said that he has been in contact with Ms. Robinson almost pretty much every day. I know even last time that she, I think she wants him back home. He is on level 1-0. And I know Patrick wants to go back home as well. So I'm just asking that if we can get her back on and she can come get him, that he be released to her.
All right. Ms. Paxton, is the department in agreement with allowing Ms. Robertson to come get him?
Yes, I do believe she'll get him back for court. I don't know if she's planning to stay here until court, but I do know that she should be willing to get him back to court.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and authorize his release. It will be a requirement that Ms. Robertson bring him back to court. I believe he has court on the 30th. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay. And with the understanding that, Mr. Bowers, if you don't come back to court when you're supposed to, I will issue a directive to apprehend for you. I could also issue a warrant for your cousin that results in her being taken to the Tarrant County Jail and being held there until you are back in detention. All right? So I need you to come back to court when you're supposed to. Ms. Mills, I see his hand raised.
Right.
It's my guess you don't want him to say anything right now since he's going to get released.
Not unless he just has a question. If he has a question, I'm okay with that. But
You have a question, Mr. Bowers?
Is the court over Zoom or am I supposed to come in person?
Come in person.
All right, that's what we've been needing to know is if it's over Zoom or person. But thank you very much.
Come in person. Make sure you keep in touch with both your probation officer and Ms. Mills, okay?
Yes, sir, I will.
All right, that'll be the order of the court. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Ms. Mills. Jared, Cassius Coleman. All right, are you Mr. Coleman?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Coleman, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent, and you also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Mr. Adeniji, is here. Do you see Mr. Adeniji on the screen?
No, sir.
Lateef, go ahead and say hello.
How are you doing, John?
I'm good.
All right. According to the police report, you were brought in back on January 16th. Well, no, back on January 16th, 2021, around 3 in the morning, police responded to a shooting call at Bottoms Up. Witnesses reported the black male wearing a yellow shirt had gotten into a fight at the club and then started shooting indiscriminately into a crowd of people, striking 2 victims. Jared Rand got into a Ford Fusion along with 3 other individuals. Police were eventually able to catch you, removed the individuals from the vehicle, and you were the only one wearing a yellow shirt. All right. Wow, you have a long history of referrals. Wow. That's wow. That's 2.5 pages of referrals. Okay, and when they brought you in on January 30th, you tested positive for marijuana. So, Mr. Adeniji, what are your thoughts?
My thought is to request if it could be released on electronic monitoring so the court can know where and when and what it's up to.
Does he have a parent or guardian here today?
I'm not sure if the probation officer is aware that.
Mr. Kroll, I thought I
Yes,
searched.
sir.
Does he have a parent or guardian here today?
I spoke with Mother Friday. She said she would be present. I have not seen her in person in the building, and I do not see her on Zoom.
All right. Well, Mr. Coleman, I don't have a parent or guardian to release you here today. I also think that if I were to release you, given your lengthy history, you'd be a danger to the community. So I'm not letting you out. That'll be the order of the court. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Adeniji. Marquez Gaither.
Your Honor, Mr. Berger was trying to get in.
Okay, we'll make that happen.
He also has a CPS worker. Miss Barker is here.
Oh, good. Hi, Miss Barker. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Better than I deserve. All right, are you Mr. Gaither?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gaither, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Mike Berger, is here.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Mr. Berger. Okay. Wow. Again, with the lengthy history, but most recently, you were referred for a runaway on January 20th. Fort Worth Police Department were dispatched to a Winco store on Crowley Road for a pickup. According to the police report, a loss prevention officer reported that he observed you pick up several items and place them in his backpack. Thereafter, you passed all points of sale. You were thereafter apprehended outside the store by the loss prevention officer. You're reportedly a runaway out of Dallas County. It also should be noted that you have several runaways from your CPS placements. Am I correct, Ms. Barker? He just doesn't like his placements?
Okay,
Yeah, there've been some issues.
All right. Mr. Berger, what are your thoughts?
Judge, at the current time, I have set the matter for a contested hearing. The alleged victim in the felony case is his mother. My understanding is that she is not in Fort Worth. In fact, she may not even be in the state. So for that reason, since I don't believe that the state will have a live witness, I'm going to set it for a contest. And if no other charges are filed, we can proceed from there.
That's a prudent strategy. As for today, Mr. Gaither, I got to order you be detained. Thank you, sir. That'll be the order of the court. Mia Alexander Hernandez.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Berger. Good morning, Ms. Hernandez. How are you?
I'm fine.
Ms. Hernandez, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney, Mr. Beaver, is here. Do you see him on the screen?
Good morning, Mia.
Good morning.
Give me just a second, y'all. Sorry, that might be more helpful to do it that way. All right. Ms. Hernandez, you are 16 going on 17. You were brought in back on February 23rd on an allegation of assault family violence. You were brought in again on March 5th, also on an allegation of assault family violence. For the most recent referral, according to the police report, around 9:40 at night, Fort Worth Police responded to a domestic disturbance. Your mother explained that she had taken away your phone as punishment. Mother reported that she and her 23-year-old daughter went to get something to eat. And while out, Mom discovered that you had retrieved the confiscated phone and started posting on social media. Upon Mom and older sister's return, you ran to your room and allegedly locked the door. Mom and the sister had to force their way into that room, after which Mom asked for the sister to watch Mia while Mother went to call the probation officer. Then you allegedly ended up throwing a water bottle at your sister, striking her with a closed fist in the ear, causing pain. Do we have a parent or guardian here today?
Yes.
All right. What is your relationship to Ms. Hernandez?
Her father.
Okay. Give me just a second, y'all, please. All right. Dad, will you do me a favor? Sit up close to the computer for me. Okay. And Dad, do you live in the same household with Mia? Or you and Mom co-parenting?
Co-parenting, yes.
Okay. Who else lives in the household with you?
My wife and my daughter, Sophia. She's 8
Okay.
years old.
How old is your daughter?
She's 8 years old. 8.
What is going on? Is this new outburst of anger from Ms. Hernandez, or has this been an ongoing problem?
It is new, and I'm taking all the steps to get her some help with counseling and psychiatrists for trauma. So those are the steps that I'm going to be taking, and I need to take her home as soon as possible so I can get that help for her and just be with family and stay away from Mom. It's not a good thing for her to go home even with her moms.
Okay. Are you worried about Ms. Hernandez endangering your 8-year-old daughter?
No, absolutely not. She's never been physical with my wife and my kids. So,
Mr. Beaver, what are your thoughts?
Your Honor, I've been in contact with both Mia's mother and father, and I believe that this is the best option for her right now. She is on one outstanding, and I believe that the only referrals that she's ever had have been related to violence while she was in her mother's care and custody. So I'm hoping that with her living with her father, that there will be no further problems.
Mr. Victorson, what are your thoughts?
I would echo Mr. Beaver's thoughts. I just did want to make the court aware that Mom did report to me that this isn't necessarily new behavior at her home, but this was the first 2 times that she contacted the authorities.
All right, Ms. Hernandez, I'm going to authorize your release on the electronic monitor.
okay.
To your dad, because I'm releasing her to you, you're responsible for making sure she comes back to court when she's supposed to come back to court.
Yes, sir.
If she doesn't, 2 bad things can happen.
Mm-hmm.
First, I will issue a warrant for Mia's arrest.
Okay.
Second bad thing concerns you. I could issue a warrant that results in you being taken to the Tarrant County Jail until such time as Mia's case has been resolved. Do you understand that risk?
Yes,
And knowing that risk, do you still want to take your daughter home today?
absolutely.
All right, then I will make that authorization. That'll be the order of the court.
Thank you.
Christian Dwayne Johnson. All right, are you Mr. Johnson?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Johnson, my name is Judge Fordwood. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney. And is Mr. Shaw here?
I didn't see him earlier, Judge.
All right, Mr. Sierra, can you step up for me?
Yes, Your
I'm
Honor.
going to appoint Raphael Sierra for the purposes of this hearing, Mr. Johnson. All right, Mr. Johnson. You're 16 years old and 9 months. According to the police report, Back on March 7th, you were referred in custody by the Fort Worth Police Department for the offense of unlawfully carrying a weapon. According to the police report, around 8:30 at night, Fort Worth gang unit officers initiated a traffic stop on a 2007 Land Rover in the 1600 block of Stalcup Road in Fort Worth. The driver, who is unnamed in the report, was identified as having warrants for his arrest. Another officer stated there was a strong odor emanating from the vehicle that officer recognized to be marijuana. And then another officer approached the passenger side and recognized the rear passenger as Christian Johnson from a previous encounter where he was associated with gang members. And then you reportedly informed that officer that you had a gun on him and it was between your pants and your underwear. Okay. And then you were brought here, transported without incident. You are currently on probation. You were just placed on probation last fall. Okay. Mr. Mitchell here, is somebody covering for Mr. Mitchell?
I'm here, sir.
Oh, Mr. Mitchell.
Yes, sir.
Please tell me I was not the one who placed Mr. Johnson on probation.
I want to say you were, but let me make sure.
Pretty sure I was.
Yes, sir, you were.
Oh, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson. Now, when you take a deal involving probation, that's a promise to the court that you're going to obey all the rules of your probation. Now, Mr. Mitchell, I think it's somewhere around rule number 12 of his probation that it says he will not use or possess any firearms. Am I hitting close to the mark?
Yes, sir, you're absolutely correct.
Oh! Mr. Johnson, come on. Do we have parents or guardians here today?
Yes. Yes, his mother and father there, sir.
All right, mom and dad. Where'd you get the gun?
That I don't know.
I don't know either.
What was he doing out at 8:30 at night?
He was supposed to be on his way home to eat dinner. His cousin was bringing him home.
What was he doing hanging out with gang members?
Well, actually, he wasn't with no gang members.
That's just some of those people that he was with is his family.
Everybody that was in that vehicle was his family member, except for one person. And second, they was doing a music video shoot. His older cousins, they in the music business, so they do music videos. So with that being said, that's the only reason why he was with them, because he was in a music video. But as far as where he got the gun from, I don't know.
Okay,
Judge Porter?
Yes, Mr. Mitchell.
If I may interject for a second, from the understanding I got from the police report as well, is that when the officer identified Christian as being previously with gang members, he wasn't saying that the people in the car were gang members.
Oh, okay.
It was from a previous encounter that he remembered Christian from.
Ah, thank you.
You're
That is
welcome.
an important clarification. That, mom and dad,
Yes.
you know where he's getting the marijuana from?
No.
But his drug test was clean, sir.
Well, that wasn't my Mr. Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell, that wasn't my question. Mr. Johnson, put your hand down. Mom and Dad, you heard me say that the police report indicates that strong smell of marijuana was coming from that vehicle. Where are those kids? Because you already told me that they're all his family members,
Right.
right? Where are they getting the marijuana from?
I don't know.
I don't be around them every day, 24/7, you know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But kids today are gonna do what they want to do. You can only do so much with kids and tell them what not to do, you know. But kids gonna be having their own brain. They're gonna do what they want to do. Now, as far as this marijuana thing, I know my son don't use marijuana. Now, it might be marijuana in the car, but I know my son don't use it. And his UA was clean. It ain't got nothing to do with it. But I also understand Judge Porter, he's on probation, so he can't be around none of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Guns, drugs. And,
understand what you're saying.
and
Okay.
he hadn't even been on probation 6 months. Plus, let's see. Yes, the driver had warrants out for his arrest. And so that's the third violation because Mr. Johnson isn't supposed to be hanging out with people who have warrants out for their arrest.
I wouldn't even know where my nephew.
Yeah, see, I wasn't even aware he had one as far as that.
Well, now you do. That empowers y'all with a lot more information, doesn't it?
Right.
Okay.
But see, this thing though, like even his mother, we always tell him, dude, stay out the way. It's like I say, a kid gonna do what they want to do. Only way he'll do what he's supposed to do if he's around us and we stand on him 24/7. When he get by himself, he's a whole totally different person. And I try to keep him with good advice and not being in here, you know. Keep your nose clean, man, so you won't have to be in here. You say you don't want to be in here, they don't feed you right. Here's the thing. I done been down that road too. I done been in jail. If you want to keep yourself free, if you want to eat like you want to eat, then you can't be doing stuff to get in here. So otherwise, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? What to say about this, but you know, all I know is he a good kid. He don't mean no harm to nobody, but he just be around the wrong people, the wrong crowd of people, and that will get you in trouble.
Christian, your dad is a very, very wise man. You would do well to listen to both him and your mother. Because Dad and I are on the exact same page. So let me check on something real quick. All right. You got a hearing before me, Mr. Johnson, on April 5th. So I will see you then. Until then, I'm going to continue your detention because you're on probation. You know you're not supposed to have weapons. You're not supposed to be around people that have warrants out for their arrest. You're not supposed to be around illegal drugs, and you did all three of those things. Now, you have been on level 1 for a little while, but it's not yet long enough to convince me that if I were to release you, you wouldn't be going back and doing all those bad things again. So in order to protect you from yourself, I'm going to order you be detained today. We'll reconsider that on April 5th. Thank you, sir. That'll be the order of the court. Devontae, Lindsay. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad, you keep doing what you're trying to do.
All right.
Thanks, Judge.
All right. Are you Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lindsay, you are almost 17 years of age. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney. And Ms. YYYYY is your attorney, and she is here. Do you see her on the screen?
You said Mrs. who?
YYYYY.
You see me?
Rita?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, I see her.
All right. All right, Mr. Lindsay. According to the police report, around 11:40 in the morning, back on March 5th, Arlington Police Department was dispatched to a resident where a suspect was banging on the back door. Apparently, you went to your ex-girlfriend's house and you were upset with the breakup. Understandable. Your mom had initially, the ex-girlfriend's mother initially opened the front door, but told you that you needed to leave after he stated he needed to talk with the ex-girlfriend. Then the mom had closed the door on you. You went around to the back, jumped the fence, and started banging on the back door. You ultimately kicked the door in. Wow, that's a lot of force. And when the ex-girlfriend's mom went to push you back out, you punched her in the chest, knocking her to the ground. Oh, man.
That's.
All right. Stepfather eventually restrained you, and the police arrived short thereafter. While being escorted to the curb, you became combative and actively resisted, so you were taken into custody. You're ultimately charged with burglary of habitation, criminal mischief, and resisting arrest. Okay, you've been level 1-0 since March 13th. What is your relationship to Devontae?
I'm his mom.
All right. Oh, Mom, you remember what it's like to have your heart broken, don't you?
Yes, but it's a long story with that situation. And as far as the video cameras in the house, everything, I have videos showing where the stuff that she's saying is not 100%.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Let's don't go into the offense. Okay. Let's save all of that drama for court on a later date. There may actually be a trial or another hearing.
Yes, sir.
What I care about today is, let's see. Is Ms. Aguirre here? Ms. Aguirre, does he have prior referrals to the department?
Yes, Your Honor. However, those were dismissed.
Okay. Do you know what that prior criminal mischief was for?
Sorry, Your Honor. Give me 1 second.
Oh. Well, while Miss Aguirre's looking for that, Mom, where's he getting the marijuana that he tested positive for when they brought him in?
I have the slightest idea.
Oh, okay. None of the parents today know where their kids are getting marijuana. Oh my gosh. Nobody knows the name of the marijuana ferry in Tarrant County. Somebody needs to find that information out for us.
Your Honor, regarding the criminal mischief, that was back from July of 2020. The allegations were a victim reported when she arrived home, she noticed 2 windows broken at her apartment. Ultimately, the family did pay restitution.
Okay. Is there any indication that the victim in the prior criminal mischief was the same or related to the victim in the current criminal mischief?
Your Honor, I don't know if they're related, however, it is not the same victim.
Okay, that's really what I'm looking for. Okay. Ms. Mowdy, what are your thoughts?
Well, Judge, after speaking with the injured party in this case, they've been in contact with victim services. They're very, very concerned in regards to if he is released, going back to the location. It seemed to be an escalating situation between the 2 individuals, and they're just very fearful that he's going to return.
Mom, what can you do to make sure that Devontae has 0 contact with the young lady or her family?
Well, I know for sure, and I put this on me, that he's no longer going to communicate or be around the vicinity of that family. I'm going to make sure that he's doing what he's supposed to do.
Well, we see, okay, back on March 5th, that was a school day. Why wasn't he in school that day?
Because they do they go certain days of the week and they do virtual.
And why wasn't he in class at that time?
He was at home. I think, and this was on the weekend. This happened on.
No, ma'am, it was not. No, ma'am. It was Friday, March 5th at 11:40 in the morning.
11:40?
He should have been in class.
Because I was there at home, and I know he was doing virtual.
He's not in school if he's over at the ex-girlfriend's house.
That's what I'm saying. He was at home and I was at home. He got up and both of them was communicating on the phone. And then the next thing I know, I didn't see him. So that's what made me question where he was.
Your Honor, that is my mistake. I'm looking at the police incident report. The date that we received that complaint in the police incident report does say the offense date of March the 6th.
Okay.
That's
Well, that does change things. Okay. Ms. Aguirre, if you will make that correction to the detention hearing report so that that information is provided to us correctly next time, and in the event that it makes it into a social history, we have the correct information.
Will do.
And Your Honor, may I say something, please?
Please go ahead, Ms. Uzuehe.
Your Honor, please, we ask that that Devontae get released. Me and Mom has been communicating very well. Mom is on top of it, and Devontae, I also have communicated with him also, so he knows the seriousness of even ever daring, going over there or even calling the victim on the phone. So he knows what he's supposed to do. He's been doing well back there at the detention center. Your Honor, we ask that he be released, and we can promise you that he's not going to come back, at least not on this issue of violating the terms of the release.
All right. Mr. Lindsay, I'm going to authorize your release on the electronic monitor. Ms. Aguirre, he's allowed no exceptions for that electronic monitor for the first 2 weeks, except for medical appointments, since Mom has testified that the kid is in online classes. He doesn't need to leave the house for school. So the only exception for the EM for the first 2 weeks is for medical appointments that have been verified by JPD. After that, we can consider expanding exceptions for family events that have been pre-approved or for religious events that have been pre-approved. As a condition of his release, Mr. Lindsay, you're to have no contact, either direct or indirect, of any shape, form, or fashion with the victim or her family. That means no social media contact, no telephone, no getting friends to call her or DM her or anything like that. Zero direct or indirect contact with the victim. And you're also on lockdown. Mom, I need you to understand, I'm releasing him on the electronic monitor. It is your responsibility to make sure he does come back to court. If he does not, I will issue a directive to apprehend, and he will be back in detention. The second bad thing concerns you. If he doesn't show up for court when he's supposed to, I could issue a warrant for your arrest that results in you being held in the Tarrant County Jail until his case is over with. So, knowing that if he doesn't show up back for court, you could go to the Tarrant County Jail, are you still willing to take him home today?
Yes, sir.
All right, that'll be the order of the court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Danny DeMarcus Parker. Mr. Houston here? Nope. All right, Mr. Sierra, can you step up real quick? Oh, is he? Wait. Oh, I see him now. He's trying to connect. He's having connection issues. All right, Mr. Sierra, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to step up.
Yes,
All
Judge.
right, Mr. Parker, my name is Judge Porter. The law says when you're brought into detention and initially detained, you must see a judge every 10 business days thereafter. This is your 10-day hearing. You have the right to remain silent. You also have the right to an attorney. And for purposes of this hearing, I've appointed Raphael Sierra to be your attorney. Do we have a parent or guardian here today, Mr. Crawl?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, we do not.
Mr. Crawl, do we have a parent or guardian here today? Okay.
Your Honor, we do not.
The court has previously found that The court has previously found that probable cause exists to believe that you engaged in delinquent conduct sufficient to warrant your initial detention. You've been ordered to placement at Woodward Academy. And so based on that, Mr. Parker, I'm going to continue your detention. Maintain that level 1-0 for us so that you're ready to go when it's time to go to Iowa. Thank you, sir. Okay, Jocelyn Saldana. Good morning, Miss Saldana. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Oh, better than I deserve.